Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the 9 most common retirement mistakes and how to avoid them. My name is Craig Ferrantino, and I am a certified financial fiduciary and a certified wealth strategist here at Craig James Financial Services. I founded Craig James Financial Services 18 years ago because I felt there's a need to give independent, objective financial advice, and we're licensed through United Planners and that's our broker dealer. So all examples are hypothetical and for illustrative purposes only. And we want to make sure that this is very easy to understand. These are some of the mistakes that we see in my practice over my many years of doing this. Okay, you should know that. I'm sure you've heard the saying many times before. Most people, good advice would think this is good advice. But Americans aren't following their advice. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Now, this is an incredible comment, but 40% have done some planning, but lack a formal plan, and 37% have done no planning whatsoever. More than half of Americans say they're behind on saving for retirement. And I hope that's not anybody on this call, but that's what we're here to talk about today. To have proper retirement planning, it's a key to maintaining and achieving your dream. It helps you to understand your risks and will help you minimize your taxes with proper planning and help you to know exactly what to do and when to do it. So at the end of this presentation, you should feel more confident. You should know more about your stature, what you think of, what's important, and feel more confident and invest and set your retirement plan for the future. So the first mistake that we see is just improper asset allocation. I literally just had somebody in my office, a woman, 67 years old, still 90% aggressive. I mean, at some age, you want to start dialing the risk down, so improper asset allocation really helps reduce the overall market risk. And so it's very important to understand that because if you have everything in just an aggressive portfolio, you could also lose everything, which is fine, not lose everything, but suffer some losses so that in later years, it'll take you longer to make the money back. So let's go take a look at some of the charts that we have. This goes to show if you have too much in large cap equity. If you're in the top right corner is how we've done the last 2 years. Large cap stocks have done about 26% in 23 and 24, 26%. But if you go down to 22 and you see that they're down 18%. So you can do in the back of an envelope the years that you're up versus the years that you're down. It's figure out that almost 20% deficit for year of 2022 could have an effect on doing 26 and 25%. These are not cumulative gains. These are the gains for the year. And depending on when you invest, you can be devastated. If you go back a couple more years, the large cap equity, I'm now in 2008, towards the bottom of the chart, if you scan your eyes there, you would have lost 37%. Well, okay, the next year, we did positive 26%, but a loss of 37% means I need to do 80% to break even, right? Almost double, let's say 70%, we can do the math. And I did 26% the year later. It's not a net there because losing more than a third of my assets is going to take me a lot longer and a lot more positive years. So the next year I did 15%. The next year I did 2.11%. I don't think I still broke even here. So I'm 3 years into it. Now I'm in 2011. Large cap equity is in there, and I did 16%. So it might have taken me, without adding another dollar to anything, would have taken me 5 or 6 years just to break even, and then you start to see it move positively as the years go forward. So it's important to understand that diversification and risk management is extremely important for you. All right, mistake number 2. let's talk about failing to maximize your Social Security benefits. A lot of people take them early, don't know if that's always the case. You rush to collect benefits, there could be major advantages of waiting. If you don't claim as a survivor first, and you don't consider the tax implications, too many retirees are not looking at the tax situation. They just want to take their money whenever they can. Here, you see when you can actually take it to be in what's considered full retirement age. And if you're born 1960 or later, which probably many people on this webinar today, you have to wait till age 67 to get your full retirement benefits. Yes, you can take your retirement benefits as early as 62. I do get that, but that's called a pre-retirement benefit. And if you're still working, the IRS is going to hit you pretty good in terms of taxes and things like that. Most people don't, to increase your benefits, we want to make sure you claim your spousal benefits. If that makes sense to you, you can receive up to 50% of your spouse's benefit at your full retirement age, not on your early retirement age. And if someone is a stay-at-home parent, we would say stay-at-home mom, but we change it to parent now. So, or otherwise did not spend many years working, it helps to claim on behalf of your spouse. Understanding the effect of taxes is another thing. Adding Social Security to your ready income can have a deleterious effect on how much you pay in taxes. So you're already making money, you're still working, and the next thing you know, you turn on Social Security and you're getting hit with the Social Security. And that you may think that you're getting another 25,000, but maybe you're only keeping 10,000 of that 25,000 based on your tax bracket. So taxes on Social Security benefits certainly are very important. That could change in the new administration, by the way. I do want to talk about that. Whether Social Security is taxed or not could change in the next few years. Stay tuned on that one. All right, let's look at the account. This is what if you have a tax deferred growth, that's usually in the green there. It means you didn't pay taxes on. You're in a mutual fund. You invest 100,000. One's in your account. One is in your IRA. The one that's in your account is going to be worth 478,000, almost 479,000 after 30 years. If I don't have to pay taxes every year, I can have $1 million, the same exact returns because I didn't pay taxes because it was in an individual retirement account or something like that. And actually, the money that you didn't take out in taxes made money for you, and so that's how we get $1.6 million, just over $1 million after 30 years. So very, very important to see the effect of taxes on your wealth, and this is the best way to illustrate that. Another mistake I see in the field, and we're halfway through already, mismanaging tax deferred assets. So you have the wrong type of account, whether it's an IRA, 401k. Some people we see stick monies in or keeping it. They've had a retirement experience, but they keep it in the traditional funds that they were using at their investment, at their company. So whatever company, they haven't worked for Kimberly-Clark or Microsoft the last 5 years, but they kept the assets in the Microsoft retirement plan. Moving it to a self-directed IRA opens up the world to many, many different choices. So it's important. Also, taking withdrawals too early also robs your retirement of those extra savings. And if you take it very early, before 59.5, you could also get it with a 10% penalty from the IRS, in addition to coming out as taxable income. All assets distributed from a 401k, 403b, a deferred comp 457 plan, and an IRA are taxed in the year as ordinary income in the year that it's taken. So it's important to know that. Managing the taxes is important. It's just to make sure that you know that, when you do a tax deferred investment, you've deferred those taxes to a later date, and you will get hit at the time that you take the money out. So, and making withdrawals will be the time that you take the money out. Please be advised that the money comes out and you have to pay taxes on it. So very, very important. Oops, sorry about that. So Healthcare expenses, it seems to be going up. You'll see that. Most people expect to be paying $41,000 over their lifetime for healthcare expenses, which if you're in Medicare, Medicaid, Medicare Part B, Part C, Part D, they expect $41,000 over the lifetime. In reality, for a couple, it comes out to closer to $315,000. So just to let you know, if you didn't save for that, that's another hit you can be taking. And here's the growth of healthcare expenses per person to take a look at in constant $2,023. So you want to learn your various Medicare options, which is one of the solutions. Start familiarizing yourself with the intricacies of Medicare before you take Medicare. The federal government's health insurance program for seniors is often referred to as a single plan, but in reality, it's many plans rolled into one. The basic level is Part A, which is hospital, Part B, which covers outpatient hospital care, going to a doc in the box, physical therapy, home health care is Part B, and then there's the Medicare Advantage plans. So Medigap insurance is sold also, and you could also talk about long-term care insurance, which is very, very important. And investing properly, investing properly is going to help you offset those costs that you saw from the other slide of $315,000 for a married couple. Should you need it, it's there for you. Investments is the way to help yourself through that. And you know, you got to don't underestimate inflation. Inflation's important. And inflation is the rate in which prices for goods and services go up while the value of the currency goes down. There you go. So if the inflation rate is 4%, a candy bar that costs $1 this year would be $1 for next year. So at the end of the year. Similarly, if you put $100,000 in a certificate of deposit and you made 4% for the year, and you would have had $104,000, well, at the end of the year with inflation, basically you're just keeping up. The $100,000 will purchase the same as the $104,000 at the end of the year. So you're not outpacing inflation. You're just keeping up with inflation at a 4% inflation rate. So on the negative, if you didn't do anything with the money, the $100,000 you had at the beginning of the year without putting it in a CD or investing it will be worth $96,000 at the end of the year. In 5 years, it'll be worth $82,000, and in 10 years, it'll be worth, in terms of buying power, $66,000. Your $100,000 in 10 years without any growth, just a straight holding it, keeping it in the mattress, would only purchase $66,000 worth of goods in 10 years from now. Mistake number 7 is a lack of liquidity, not having enough money sticking around or being able to convert it should you need it. So your real estate, cash is the most liquid asset there is because it can be used immediately and under almost any circumstances. Other investments have other degrees of liquidity. Certainly your house, you don't want to sell your house if you need to come up with cash. A major possession such as a car, if you need to get a car, you don't want to be putting your car up for sale if you need that extra 20, 30,000. Certainly CDs, you can break them, but there's a cost to that. Bonds, stocks, and cash. Cash is the most liquid, less liquids to your left. Certainly real estate and any major possession you may have, whether it's a Harley Davidson, a nice automobile, maybe a collector's car. They are liquid, but it just takes longer, and it may not be at the price that you want for that asset. We can't see a lot of fraud lately. We do once a month. We have a class on cybersecurity, so it's important to know that 3.5 million retirees are reported being victims. You could probably triple that for the ones that didn't report being victims. And seniors are targeted by fraud for a lot of reasons. The average loss currently, they tell us statistics, $34,000, $34,200 in loss to fraud. And retirees lose a collective total of $3 billion each year due to fraud. So, we still wear our seatbelts when we drive. We still lock our house when we go out. And even if we think these things never happen, we need to still take precautions against them. It's the precautions that prevent bad things from getting them. One fraudster in our practice just a few months ago, one client called, said she's taking money out, she's buying a house near her family, and she called back later, a few days later, wanted to know if the money went out. I said, yes, it did. And then she was crying, and I said, what happened? She's like, well, they frauded it. They told me the IRS was calling me and said I owed money to the IRS and I had to pay them right away. So the IRS doesn't usually make those calls. Usually get a letter or something, God forbid. But so in the end of it, whoever was talking to her, they told her, when you call your financial advisor, you can't say anything about it because everybody's a suspect. Your family members and your trusted financial person, and they got her trust so much that they derailed. When I asked her the proper questions before I let the money go, she had a legitimate excuse. She sounded like there was nothing else was going on, and they told her, they had her convinced that everybody was in on this possible scamming, and she needed to restore that money to the IRS. And next thing you know, the money was gone. So nothing we could do about that. She did report that to law enforcement, but very, very sad to see that money go. All right, fiat investment scams, tech support, business email. These are your scam alerts. This is from the FBI Elder Fraud Report back 2 years ago now. So government impersonation scam is what she had, 180 million. I want to see about this confidence and romance scams. That looks very, very good. Be on the lookout for any of those scams. There's also affinity fraud. If you're, hey, we're from the same group as you, either it's religion or we're at the golf club or whatever. We want to make sure that you don't. They may have gotten your name from some website. You want to make sure that you can process that, so that if you see something like that coming, you do want to check. I did get 2 things saying that just recently on my cell phone, USPS, maybe you've seen that, United States Parcel Service, we have a package you need to claim, please click here. I saw another one from, I just got on my phone here, saw another one from Easy Pass saying that if you don't pay a toll now, you'll be subject to substantial penalties. I thought that was very interesting. So don't know if that was legitimate or not, but I don't think I'll be subject to this. I'll pay the penalties before I click that. It's just one of those things. Not daring to dream is mistake number 9. Not daring to dream. So what do you want to do? I mean, what's important? You want to learn how to cook Italian food in Italy? I like that. They were saying you want to run Boston and New York marathons, spend time with grandchildren, open up your own bed and breakfast, get that master's degree you were looking for, taking one of those repositioning cruises that these ships are really good bargain. You could be on the ship for 20, 30 days, and they're repositioning the ship into Europe from let's say the Atlantic. Very, very interesting. These are great. Have some dreams in there. Make retirement fun so that you can hit your goals. And extremely important to get this all done, because this is what we do. There was the dream I remember in John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men. And he was talking to Lenny. He goes, I'm just going to get a farm, have some rabbits and grow some tomatoes and live off the fat of the land. I remember that since high school. Very important to have a dream like that. So here's your most common retirement mistakes: improper asset allocation. We want to make sure that you have the right assets. Not maximizing your Social Security. Look at your benefits. Maybe claim as a spouse if you have a spouse or a survivor. Underestimating taxes, I think, is very important. Not knowing how much taxes you're going to pay. you end up paying more. Misusing tax-deferred assets, not properly having your retirement assets balanced and properly invested. You know, the big thing about underestimating healthcare expenses, that it's almost 10 times more than what people put away. They don't understand. They just truly don't understand what healthcare costs may be in the future. And underestimating inflation. Hopefully that's coming down, but we're still at a pretty high inflation rate. Knowing what's liquid, you need to know that if you need to do something, God forbid, an emergency fund available, to know that you have liquidity. We want to make sure you're not getting any fraud is happening to you, a victim of fraud. And the last one, daring not to dream. If you're not daring to dream, that's going to be a real problem. So we want to make sure that all your dreams and all your wishes will come true with proper financial and retirement planning. All right, mistakes are not permanent. We could fix them. You want to come in. It's never too late to talk to us at Craig James Financial Services. We roll up our sleeves and dive into retirement mistakes. You can always schedule a consultation with us. Just go to our website, craigjamesfinancial.com. That's craigjamesfinancial.com. Right on the landing page, it says, hey, schedule a free consult. We want you to do that. I can't call everybody on this call. You've been a great audience. I can't call everybody on this call, but I want to let you know my door is always open. Just go to our website, craigjamesfinancialservices.com. You can also call her up at 631-393-2888. That's 631-393-2888. Or you can send an email to our staff. Jen is a good person to reach out. Our team is very, very dedicated and very much would love to hear from you. So feel free, give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. Again, our office, 631-393-2888, craigjamesfinancial.com. You've been a great, great group, and we'll catch you. Stay tuned to our website for our next presentation.